have been involved in the kind of selection, placement, onboarding, mobilization of something around 150 different CEOs in different contexts. And, and when I was at Blackstone, we did a little study about CEO success. And first of all, how good were we at picking them, and how successful were they? And it was a pretty startling outcome, because we looked at 80 investments, so different companies that had been bought, looking backward, and we looked at CEO success, and success was defined as when they started, and when we bought it, and they were still there when we sold it. So success was survival. They were still there. And when I looked at because the guy who owned and ran Blackstone, Steve Schwarzman, he said to me, listen, this thing has gotten so competitive that I not only need to buy great businesses, but I need to have great people run them, because the first 25 years we were doing this, we made our money the day we bought it because we could buy pretty cheap. But now, because of the competition, the price has been bid up. So I'm paying full price for these assets, and improvements are even built in to the price. So I've got to have somebody who can lead those improvements. And so in every one of these cases, we had the business had a certain momentum, and that's what we bought. Okay, that's what we bought. If we were going to actually make money, we had to take the momentum and we had to change the trajectory of that business in time. Yep. And that's the other thing that was, really came out when we first started talking was, hey, this thing has a momentum, and the momentum isn't helping me. But by the way, I'm going to run out of time.
Yeah,
I'm going to run out of time. And that is exactly what happened in these 80 investments I looked at. And by the way, in that, our CEO success rate in those 80 investments was only 44%. So 56% of the time, we changed the CEO within a 5-year hold period, and 17% of the time we changed them twice. So you have three different people in 5 years.
Yep.
So then, we started to say, well, what is it that the winners do? So one thing was to look at failure, but I wanted to understand the success. And what is it that the winners do? And, there were two things that really jumped out of that, what the winners do. And unfortunately, it was also part of what bit the people who didn't make it. The number one thing was that they were able to assemble enough talent where it mattered quickly enough, make the changes. And that's where, the whole talent to value sort of idea.
So in our world, so if any coaches out there listening, so like in my world, what you just described is similar. Would that be, you're talking about your staff, or are you talking about the player? Like when you're talking about talent, are you talking about within the ecosystem or your actual players? When you're, I'm talking about
the whole ecosystem.
Right.
The whole ecosystem. Of course, the players are an important part of it, but you and I both know you can't win. We know this now. You can't be in the conversation for a national championship unless the key roles in that ecosystem are functioning. So when you start to think about that, the ecosystem that surrounds the CEO of ASU baseball, you have the athletic director, you have the sport administrators, you have the president of the university, you have the fans. Those people who are sitting up in the stands, some of them that come week after week and night after night and so on. And, you know, and it's exactly the same in a business context. And, you know, and it was interesting watching people for all kinds of reasons. And first of all, they went hunting for the right roles in the organization chart. But what we discovered was that you need to go hunting for it where the value is. Then the second thing was, if my momentum is going in a particular direction, and I know where it is that I would like to go, the biggest mistake and here was the pattern of the people who didn't make it. So they would start with a big ambition. So I want to be in the conversation for the national championship. Okay, what reasonably competitive college baseball team wouldn't say that they want to be in the conversation for the national championship? That's a big ambition. So here's what the losers do: think big, start big. So let's get everything going. Move slow, run out of time, get fired. But what do the winners do? You think bigger, but start smaller. This is what I'm going to focus on in 2017. And this is what I'm going to focus on in 2018. And this is what I'm going to focus on in 2019, because I'm building a durable team, a durable program.
Yeah.
And I'm not coaching a team, you know, this year only. I'm not only coaching a team, I'm building a program here that can be in the conversation for the national championship every year. Yeah. I mean, that is a huge ambition.
But it's those little things. It's those little things on a daily basis rolled into that big, because I'm going to tell you the saying that you said to me, and I hear it in my sleep, and I use it with my sons all the time, is don't boil the ocean.